Hello, this is a short but a full demonstration on how to use the graphite pencils. I've got a 9B and an F grade, and if you remember from the last video, the F was right in the middle of the 20 grades. Now what I do like to do is to give myself a border. I'm going to work inside that shape there, and I've got a copy of the short demo that you saw last time, and I'm going to, that only lasted a couple of minutes if that, but I'm going to just elaborate a little bit more. We'll do a little bit of a close-up. Get that right in the middle. Okie dokie. This is the 9B that's being used on its side. It's quite an effective way of using a graphite pencil because you can see how quickly the tone goes down. So we're getting bits of foliage of the two trees, and there are gaps as we would have with trees in the landscape. And then I'm going to mark the horizon. The horizon here is based on where the people are going to be standing, and at the bottom of the trees there's foliage, a bit on either side, and then I'm going to mark the road. It's quite good to get that in because you can see where you are. So the people are going to be standing on this level here. They're just passing two trees, passing in between the two trees, and then there's the road. So we can put a few little dots on there for texture. And then I'm going to use that side of the pencil again just to mark the shadow. Add a little bit more texture there. That's a sharp edge just to show where the road goes over to the other side. And I'm going to carry on using this grade to put in, using the edge of the pencil. If I get that down, you can put a single mark that is just like a tree. If you want it to be a bit wider, put two together. As the tree goes up, it narrows. Disappears behind some foliage and then reappears. As we get to the smaller branches, I'm using the end of the side, pushing it upwards, but also taking the weight off it as I go up. So it goes up and looks like that, and there's very little weight. I can move my hand further back. It goes up, we press down and then lift off. And that gives you some very fine branches. Put the other tree in here. I tend to go up, lift the pencil off, and then remake the mark again, so you know that your tree line makes sense. And you see how quickly it goes down. I want another big branch somewhere here, just to span over the gap. Not actually use the F grade, but we'll bring the F grade in now. Do some smaller branches with it. You can probably hear this one. As you get the harder grades, they've got more clay in, and you do hear the mark on the piece of paper. So when you want the finer branches, it's a really good idea to go to a harder mark, because it makes a very sharp mark. Now we can put the people in. Now the scale, if I bring this in just briefly, the scale is very important because the size of the people gives the scale to the whole picture, and those are quite big people in relation to the image there. So this time I'm going to make them quite tiny. I very often put two people in. I might have a little tiny figure there. 3 is a good number. And what I've done there, I've actually used the tip of the pencil, so I've got a traditional grip there for making quite tight marks. Mostly I use different grips and a softer mark. Okay, and we can probably see that if I zoom back out again, we'll see the two pictures side by side, and you can see the difference that it makes when you just put a little bit more detail. That's still only taken a couple of minutes.